Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, DeLand Showcase finally takes place. Also, TL Aircraft announces Sparker Sport plane, and manned moon landing delayed. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Kimberly Kay. DeLand Showcase finally takes place. The 2021 DeLand Sport Aviation Showcase, delayed multiple times by COVID concerns, finally took place this past weekend at the Deland Municipal Airport. Sporadic weather caused issues throughout portions of the day, but the flying community nevertheless showed up in reasonable numbers following all the trauma of 2020. Vendors' numbers were down a bit, and a few major players weren't there, including Rands, Zenith, Vans, and a few more. Those that did attend noted modest, dedicated crowds that seemed ready to do business, though the outcome of that will take weeks to audit. Some vendors showed up unprepared to market and communicate their wares to the public, but those that did show up had positive results for their efforts. The latest generation of gyroplanes proved popular, while a number of experienced companies with mature aircraft like Hawk, Bushcat, TL Aircraft, Cub Crafters, Bristol, and others reported solid interest, as evidenced by the fact that the attendees surrounded their planes while the weather cooperated. As the last significant event for the general and sport aviation community to close out 2021. 2022 shows a lot of promise as the world returns to normal, but also presents serious challenges for an industry that has yet to get its marketing act together. After the break, TL Aircraft announces Sparker Sport plane. More news after these messages.
I believe that if people use the landing doctor training program, they will have less accidents and eventually their insurance will go down and they will make a superior pilot. We do personal limitation checklists, which is the most important reason you need to fly with limits. We do ground proximity awareness training, and we do this with a crosswind. We've been operating 6 Bristols for 2 years without one insurance claim. The Landing Doctor program is working, and you're going to hear more about it.
The Zephyr is what you have always wanted. A highly capable 2-seat turbine-powered helicopter with great ramp appeal, 100-mile-per-hour cruise speed, 172 nautical mile range, and to top it all off, a first-of-its-kind emergency airframe parachute system. The Curdy Design Zephyr, unique, advanced, innovative, and highly capable. Your ultimate freedom machine is available now at zephyr.eu.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're going to be summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. Classic Air Medical buys 5 Bell 407 GXI. Bell Textron has signed an agreement for 5 Bell 407 GXI helicopters with Classic Air Medical. The aircraft are set for delivery in 2022 to provide urgent air transport throughout the western region, serving patients in Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Idaho, New Mexico, and Wyoming. The company joins fellow 407 GXI operators Life Flight Network and Global Medical Response, who each recently signed a purchase agreement for their own 12 and 6 of the type, respectively. Air and Marine Operations P3 crew and partners seize 730 pounds of cocaine. An Air and Marine Operations National Air Security Operations Center P3 long-range tracker crew conducted a counter-drug operation in the Caribbean, leading to the seizure of 730 pounds of cocaine at the end of October, an estimated $13.8 million in illicit proceeds. On October 30th, a NASOC P3 long-range tracker crew assumed tracking of the suspect vessel in the Eastern Caribbean Sea. A maritime patrol aircraft guided interceptor vessels teams from the Dominican Republic to interdict. Honeywell launches new navigation systems. Honeywell has launched a fresh update to an older navigational standby, the Inertial Navigation System, as a resilient, robust GPS-independent system. Inertial Navigation System and Radar Velocity System were released to function with partner company Infinidome's anti-jamming system, GPD Dome, for commercially and military customers needing reliable navigation solutions that are small, light, and powerful. Unlike previous generations of similar equipment, the new additions can support not only smaller aircraft, but UAVs as well. EpiShuttle approved for Challenger installation. Norwegian company EpiGuard, in conjunction with FAI Air Ambulance, has received an STC for their EpiShuttle for CL-600 aircraft. The inclusion of the isolation chamber was completed on a Bombardier Challenger 604 equipped with a Spectrum Aero-Med base with a fixed adaptation of the Spectrum cargo stretcher, equal parts modern transparent isolation bubble and sci-fi escape shuttle. The EpiShuttle is an interesting alternative for environmental separation. Well, that does it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's return to the rest of the news. TL Aircraft announces Sparker sport plane. It's no secret that the market for the sport aircraft is competitive, even busy, when the full spectrum of aircraft is considered throughout the world. TL Ultralight of Czech fame has worked with their American cousins, TL Aircraft, to release their newest sport plane for discerning hungry customers stateside. The carbon and kevlar shell provides maximum crew protection in case of rough off-airport landings should the worst occur, which, given the ballistic parachute recovery system, should be a rare occurrence. Retractable landing gear with a steerable nose will make for easy taxi handling, with 24 cubic feet of luggage compartments hungry enough for a trip's worth of luggage. The cockpit is where the aircraft shines. With the coveted HOTAS layout, hat switch, and stick buttons, the Sparker's layout can do a convincing imitation of a personal fighter. Triple glass panel G3X touch avionics are coupled with power plant options that include the stalwart Rotax 912 ULS or the 915 IS. The ULS is a 4-cylinder carbureted engine, and the 915 IS is a turbocharged 4-cylinder, perfect for owners seeking higher performance. Estimated performance from TL Aviation gives the Sparker a range of 1,000 miles, a cruise speed of 175 knots TAS, and a fuel consumption of 7.5 gallons per hour. After these messages, manned moon landing delayed. I'll tell you why after the break.
Pilot Communications USA is proud to introduce our latest headsets, the Carbon A1 Active Noise Reduction and the Carbon P1 Passive Headset. Carbon fiber makes our headsets 30% lighter than others, which significantly reduces pilot fatigue. Our BluLink hand control unit allows you to connect 2 devices at the same time, and the record out capability can send audio to an onboard camera or digital recorder. Get the headset that's so light you may forget you're wearing one at pilot-usa.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
When adventure is calling, the Bori by Aero Volga is the plane you need to answer the call. Bori's composite design is simple, reliable, and economical, with impressive performance and no gimmicks. Designed for the wilderness and proven durability in a flight around the Arctic Circle, the Bori has what it takes to handle your next adventure. Featuring 2 large cargo compartments, a comfortable modern cockpit, and a Rotax 912 power plant, the Bori Amphibian is now available in Canada. Experience the Bori for yourself at flightsimple.com.
Welcome back. Manned moon landing delayed until at least 2025. NASA has pushed its intended moon landing date further out, now targeting a manned mission for 2025 at the earliest. Even the new date sounds optimistic, given recent realities in NASA programs. Previously in 2019, the Trump administration set what they believed was an attainable goal for the Artemis program to establish human presence on the moon by 2024, while the new target of 2025 landing still falls into the rough time frame of the original Apollo project. There is a sense that America is not just racing against China to get back to the lunar surface, but with its own past. The announcement of the Artemis delay follows a series of postponed projects in development, from postponed spacesuit design targets to the unmanned Artemis 1 launches. NASA has had to yield its ambitious schedules to reality. The culprit for the delay in Artemis this time, however, is the Blue Origin lawsuit begun over the lack of moon landing contracts. The company vigorously protested, using every legal avenue to dispute the sole contract award for SpaceX in designing Artemis core equipment. NASA says it delayed the program by months while they were locked in litigation. We lost nearly 7 months in litigation, and that likely has pushed the first human landing likely to no earlier than 2025, said the NASA administrator. That does it for our show today. I'm your host, Kimberly Kay. You can catch episodes of Airborne on Roku and Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne in the directory. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.